Hey guys, welcome to this part of September's Food Forest Tours. Hope y'all are doing great today. Got another European plum here on this row to start off with. Took a look at some of the apples and plums on those last two rows in the last video. Over here on this row, he got a little fig right there that was transplanted and looking pretty good. Coming back, got some leaves even though it was really hot time when I transplanted that. I think it was about a month ago, about during the heat of summer. Got a pepper plant coming up actually right here. A good little flower on there. So actually a few flower buds right there. So that's good to see. Hopefully we'll have some of those at the end of the year before it gets too cold for it. Hopefully kind of be a dash to the end. Hopefully it'll have some peppers on there. That would be nice. The plum tree right here is looking really good. Blackberry up in front, spreading all out. I think that was probably a frog if you heard that splashing sound back there. And pineapple guava that's coming up through there really good. Blackberries over here look really good. They're spreading all out to the side. Hello, spider. Let's see if I can just move the web over to the side and get by without having to. I'm glad they're there helping to control some of the insects. Slide them over a little bit so they can continue their job, but so I can get through. Got the blackberry coming up through there looking really healthy. Really spreading out like crazy. Love the colors on these flowers. It looks like something completely different right there. It's really cool. Blueberries right there, looking really good. Apple tree right there is kind of fading down for the year. It's been hit by some stuff at the end, but still looking really healthy. Looking good. Let's see, I think there's a seedling peach tree right here. This one got munched back, and this one just responded with tons of growth. It didn't get much down this far. It looks like it's probably about a foot or a little higher up, and but it's sending up lots of good growth and lots of side branches too there, so that's really good to see. Got the blackberry just trailing all the way from over there to over here. Got the big apple tree looking really good. That one's probably almost about 9 feet now. Hopefully have some really growth, good growth next year, and maybe get some apples the year off of that. That would be really nice. Head over to the next row. Here on the next row, as we talked about before, got this pokeweed plant right here, and I call it nurseweed just because it just seems to really help everything that grows around it, in my opinion personally. As you can see, it's a favorite of the birds. They eat these berries, but not to be eaten by humans. But the birds love them. As you can see on these blackberry leaves, they are fertilizing. The droppings right there on the leaves showing they've been here. I saw them just swarming one other day. It was probably one of the first one that was getting ripe for the year, so they were just going crazy with the first probably crop. As you can see, they cleaned that off. There's one little berry left at the end. This is a plum tree. It's growing completely underneath it. Let's see, there it is right there. It looked like it was about to go out for some reason, but it has completely recovered. It's sent up about a foot of growth right there after being almost dead. There's another branch. You can see those leaves kind of coming out through there. So I think it'll make a full recovery by next year, which is awesome after how bad it looked. You know, sometimes just the trees die or something, you know, happens and they go out. But whenever the pokeweed is around a plant, it just seems to really help the plant come back, in my opinion. I've seen it with blueberries, I've seen it with the cherry tree up there, here with this plum tree. You know, it looks like it would just shade it out, but it doesn't. And I wonder if it, you know, draws excess or extra nutrients from it, and probably also, you know, with, like we talked about, the birds eating the berries and fertilizing the soil, probably really helps the plants. As you can see, this blackberry is growing quite happy right up amongst it. Kind of actually trellises up on the pokeweed, keeps it from, you know, falling in the water there. This pond is one of the only ones, along with a really shallow one up there. Speaking of shallow, I think that's the problem. Can't tell you. That one's about, not quite a foot deep probably. Might be right at a foot. But this pond was quite deep when I dug it. It's probably, no, not really deep obviously, but you know, it was probably, this one was probably a little bit more than 2 feet deep. And I want to say this one has held its water almost all year. I think it did almost dry up along with the other ones, but it seems to be one that holds water more. And you know, I'm not sure why this one has the growth on top when the other ones don't, but just interesting. And I think it may not have as much kind of fresh water running into it, so that may be a little bit of the issue. You know, it kind of probably maybe a little bit stagnant, whereas most of the other ones have the inflow, you know, from the other ones. But really not a big deal. It still looks healthy. You can see there's the underwater plant still growing in there, so looking really good. There's some goldenrod that's about to bloom. That should really give the beneficial insects a good meal. Head over, let's check out the this is one of the seedling apple trees. This was the biggest seedling apple tree. It had gotten quite large, and then my good friends the rabbits came in and decided to munch all on it. But it has recovered, and it was gnawed back to probably just 6 inches, and now it's probably coming back to about 1.5 feet, maybe a little over a foot. But it's got 2 branches. It's got a little one right there, and then the main shoot coming up right there. So as you can see, it is super healthy. Those leaves are just dark green, really healthy, no issues at all. Same thing happened with the serviceberry that's down in there. That's what the thing is, kind of right in the middle of the screen. It's coming back too, though, so glad to see that one. The other one has gotten bigger. Seems to be happy. You know, they don't grow a whole lot, but that one right there, that's what that is. Still got a few leaves. It looks like it's ready for the winter. Blackberry's looking really good. There's a grape growing up in the apple tree right there. Kind of grapes fading out. So is the apple tree for the year. Still got some really heavy, good growth up there. So I bet this tree will probably do really good next year now that it's got a better soil around it, and got some better drainage too. So we'll see how that one turns out. The apple seedling that was right there died, sadly, I think, or at least it's done for the year after being that one did get hit twice by the rabbits. So after the second time, I think it said enough's enough. There's an apple down in there. Let's see if I can see it. That one got hit by the rabbits too. You know, they're inside these cages. You know, I wouldn't have thought the rabbits would have munched them, but I think the baby ones can get through there quite easily. And they went to town, so you live and you learn. Have to provide, you know, I might even just do away with that. I mean, why put that cage around it if it doesn't even work? It seems to help realize what's deer resistant and not versus what they eat. They seem to ignore the figs, which are out here in the open. They've left the pineapple guava, but they've munched on the peaches, pears, apples. Seem to be their favorite, and the service berries. Yeah, especially the pears they seem to really go for. And interesting, yeah. But so you know, I may plant them in the future with you know, if I plant an apple tree, I may plant a pineapple guava, you know, right up beside it, you know, to maybe help with that. I don't know, it probably won't help that much, but worth a try. So this is the apple tree that'll be probably coming out. It hasn't really grown much, just not very adapted at all to our climate. It is doing quite better though, honestly. Even with all the rain, this one was extremely susceptible to powdery mildew. And as you can, like, you know, on the growing tips is where it would be on there. But yeah, no powdery mildew pretty much. And you know, it may just be that it needed, you know, I gave it some, I gave it a little bit of a mound here. It's mostly, you know, it kind of washes away throughout the year, but it's still looking decent. And the tree just actually seems to be doing okay. So, you know, I may leave it, honestly, or graft something onto it, just to kind of experiment. It's kind of underneath, kind of became underneath this, the black locust that was beside it. It's a good 6 feet away, but now the black locust is really loving it, doing good. And the apple tree's kind of fading out. It'll probably still grow here on the edge because this is the eastern edge, so it gets probably a good half a day sun, honestly, being right here. So I'll probably just leave it and let it, just let's see what happens. Because I've learned it can be nice to just see what happens sometimes. Got this, the black locust. I probably should have just stayed where I was. Let me hop back over there. Black locust. There's a little fig down there, actually. Looks like it's getting ready for the winter. Hopefully that's it's a little green down there still. I'm hoping it over the next 2 months though, hopefully it'll harden on up. So it'll be ready for the winter. So I'd love it if the figs didn't die back all the way to the ground, but hopefully we'll give them a boost by putting some rocks on them and being up on a mound. So we'll see how that goes. The black locust is just thriving, looking super healthy. Looking really good. Super thick trunk. The trunk's probably pushing 4 inches. It'll probably be 4 inches by the end of the year. Just that's the diameter. And so I think it's jumped up. I think it was about 2 inches maybe beginning of this year. And it's really growing fast now. So it's split off into 2 trunks right there. They're each probably 2 inches in diameter. Almost that high up. So it's probably actually a little more than 4 inches down there. But we're really glad to see this tree growing so well. Hopefully you'll get some good flowers on it this coming up year and get some seeds to propagate it further. I probably will take out some of those understory branches that are down there, leaves kind of the bottom ones, and but harvest some of those to try to do some cuttings from the plant. So that'll be neat to try. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.